Hello! Today we're going to make homemade ricotta cheese. And why not? It's actually really simple and you probably already have all of this sitting at home. You're going to need a half a gallon of milk. Make sure it's not ultra pasteurized. And the option of either a teaspoon of citric acid or a third of a cup of distilled white vinegar or a third of a cup of lemon juice. One or the other, not all three. Now, what I tend to do is use citric acid because I have it on hand, but you can use any one of these three, okay? And then we have a little bit of salt that we put in to taste. You'll also notice that I have a strainer here. This is a purpose-made strainer. You can use butter muslin, you can use cheesecloth. I know in the old country where my parents came from, they actually used linen pillowcases. That's all the pillowcases were used for, but that's what they used. I'm not suggesting you use that. This, like I said, happens to be purpose-built. It comes out, it's easily used to strain. You can see the liquid would end up there. So you'll see how that works a little bit later on. So let's get started. Okay, so first step is to get our milk into our pot. So we're just going to pour in our quart of milk. And whenever you're heating up milk, you want to do it as gently as possible. This milk has just come out of the refrigerator. It's, anywhere from 32 to 34 degrees. It's not warm at all. So we're just going to turn that on and we're going to keep it very low. So the way that we monitor that is by using a candy thermometer. So this particular one, you flip this open, turn it on, you can see that's the temperature it's reading right now. So I'm just going to put it into my pot. And you want to make sure your thermometer is not touching the bottom of your pan. And I know mine isn't because I had just tested it out before I started videoing this. So you're going to leave it here warming up slowly to 200 degrees. So this is one of those, set it up, make sure that it's set at a low flame or low temperature if you have an electric stovetop, and let it come up to 200 degrees. So you're going to keep checking your thermometer as you go. No need to stir, and don't stir because you're going to get some of the milk's going to scald at the bottom of your pan no matter how low you do this, and you don't want to stir all of that up. Okay, so our milk has heated up to 200 degrees. We're going to take a teaspoon of citric acid. Doesn't matter if it's heaping. Okay, I'm going to put that in, and I'm also going to put in about a half a teaspoon of salt. You can always add more, can't add less. And now I'm going to stir without touching the bottom of the pan. See all that heat coming off. And we're going to let that slowly separate the curds and the whey. Just enough for the citric acid to get in there. And you can already see that it's separating. So we're going to leave this for about 10 to 15 minutes so that we can get all of our curds created. And that's, you can just see they're just going to start congealing. And then we're going to strain it. It's that simple. So we're going to come back in about 10 minutes or so. Okay, so our 10 minutes have passed. I have my strainer set up. If you're going to use cheesecloths or muslin, this would be the cheesecloth or the muslin. And you put it into your container, drape it out so that it's on the outside, and then carefully grab your curds and put them in to strain. Now, you can strain it for as long as you'd like. The longer you strain it, the more firm it will become. So again, you can remove the whey, and if you reserve the whey, you can add some back in. So it depends on whether you want something that's creamy or you want something that's a little more solid. Depending on the application, I like it for whether it's creamy or solid, more solid. It just kind of depends on how you're going to use it. So like for lasagna, I really do not want it runny. I want it to be a lot thicker. If I'm going to make a tart with it, I want it to be a little more spreadable. I don't want it to be very thick. So we're going to, I'm going to have it actually strain the whey away, all the way away, for about 10 minutes. And then we're just going to let it cool slightly and get it in the fridge. Okay, so I think you can see here when I lift this that it's draining out. You can save the whey and use that in your baking. I'm actually going to not reserve the whey this time because I have plenty in the fridge. And I'm just going to let this drain for about 10 minutes. Our ricotta cheese has been draining for 10 minutes, so we're just going to scoop it out now. You see how it's firm, but it's not hard. And that's what I was looking for. And we're just going to put it into another container now and put it in the fridge for when we're ready to use it. You can eat this simply on toast. You can roll it up with deli meats. You can stuff your vegetables with it. And obviously you can make all of those Italian favorites that you might like ricotta, manicotti, or lasagna, or just toss it with pasta. So I hope you try this. It's very simple, very easy to do, and I will tell you, that's delicious.